Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Marcus Aurelius, and this is Total War Attila, the Eastern Roman Empire, and History. In the last turn, we crushed what remained of the Visigoths and drove them from the earth, and now our tired but victorious Emperor Arcadius needs to rest, so we are going to end the turn. In this episode, I'd like to speak about sects. And before you get really excited, I don't mean S-E-X, but rather S-E-C-T-S, or sects.
You are worthy and strong, and only fools would not wish to be friends with you.
The Huns would like a non-aggression pact because we are worthy and strong, and only fools would not wish to be friends with us. Well, I agree with them, and I will accept this non-aggression pact. So by sects, I mean religious differences between different factions of Roman Christianity. And before we start speaking about Roman Christianity, there's two things that I need to make clear. First of all, in this time period, there's no such thing as Orthodox or Catholic. In this time period, there is only one Roman Christianity, and it is both Orthodox and Catholic, in the sense that those are just words. Orthodox means original, and Catholic means universal. And in this time period, both of them apply to the Roman Church. In fact, the division between the East and the West, Orthodox and Catholic, didn't actually take place until 1054, which is like 600 to 700 years after this time period. Okay, one of our tax collectors has reported that some citizens are withholding tax payments. Let's deal with that. So we have three options. We can ignore the issue, we could send in the troops, or we could talk them down. Well, I am a diplomat at heart, so let's talk them down. Okay, lovely. What else is going on around here? Well, Arcadius, there's some raiding going on here to the east, so we're going to move you over there to help. In fact, let's just have you go to Tremontium. Meanwhile, you, sir, will go to Marcinopolis and actually sit inside there. And let's recruit you some men. Yes, it does. Alright, awesome. Now, there's a population surplus in Syria. So let's go over there. That's in Antioch, which we will be speaking about definitely as it pertains to Roman Christianity in this period. But right now, I would like to improve our dye production, since that's a moneymaker. However, we already have a little bit of poor sanitation. So let's build waterworks. And then we can upgrade our dye. And we're out of money. But that's okay. Our income is really good. In fact, our income's great, but I need to start raising troops. One of my weaknesses in these kind of games is I like to tech up cities and build things, but I neglect raising enough troops to defend our borders. And in this series, I'm going to try very hard not to do that. So there's raiding in Thrace. We're moving to deal with that. We have a non-aggression pact with the Huns. And we've encountered the Lugians. Okay, that's cool. So the next thing I wanted to say before we start talking about these different religious sects in Roman Christianity is that in this period, paganism is still very much alive. However, it is being replaced by Christianity, and so pagans are few and far between, and they are definitely on the way out. And I think if you were a citizen of the empire at this period, you would know that. And they are attacking us. Now, we seem to be well outnumbered by them, but it claims here that our predicted strength is roughly equal to theirs. So let's fight this one out. Early Roman Christianity of this period had three different kind of controversies. The first would be Arianism, the next would be Nestorianism, and the third and final one of this period would be Monophysitism. And I'll be going over all of those three and kind of what they meant. First of all, though, in case you're unfamiliar with Christianity, you have to know that in Christianity there is only one God, but this God has three parts. There is God the Father, and there is Jesus, or Christ, the Son, and then there is the Holy Spirit. And while these are three different entities, they are also, paradoxically, the same entity. So in order to understand these divisions within Christianity, you have to understand that basic fact. Alright, so we have everybody here in town. We're being attacked by three sides. Or actually, in this case, we're only being attacked two sides. That seems strange. But we are, to my eyes anyways, well outnumbered. But let's make a go of it. So, okay, so what I was told in my previous battle is in order to prevent the tower from getting captured, you want to have your troops in front of the tower. So I guess I'll just move them up real quick after this happens. And they also mentioned that the archers were firing into the backs of my troops. So we don't want to do that. Of course, where else can I put the archers? There's no real side place to put them. You can't put anybody in here. And I just noticed here there's an extra entrance right here that leads into the town, which will flank this gate. So putting people here to guard this gate will still leave them open to flanking from this direction. There's also an entrance here. So I thought maybe there were 3 gates where the towers are, but there aren't. I want to take advantage of the offensive power of the towers, however. But it may be wiser to just move everybody back into the main courtyard. That way the archers can have their vantage points. I think in this case, because we're so outnumbered, this is what I'm going to do. What does this mean? Oh, guerrilla deployment, right. Yeah, I'd love to use the towers, but it doesn't seem like a very smart thing to do. So we're going to move you back here. We're going to put the archers here. And the second group of archers we'll actually put... Okay, we can't put them here. Or at least we can, but they won't all be on the wall. So I guess here. The second unit of Comitatenses. And so now we're protected from 3 sides. And there doesn't seem to be any enemies coming from this side. So we'll kind of keep that one as it develops. So where should we put a barricade? I'd like to protect this side, but we really can't. So we have 2 choices. We have this, and we have this. Neither of which do I really need. So I guess we'll go with this. Oh, there's this too. But nah, I want this to be available. So yeah, we'll go with this. Why not? Where can the archers? Okay, so they can actually shoot well past the barricade, so we can guard the barricade. We'll have you guys just sit there, and we'll have you fall back when necessary. That's perfect. Okay. So our cohorts will basically just be ready for anything. They're our sword infantry. That means we have 1 group of spears left. Let's kind of have them ready to back these guys up. Which now leaves us our general, who will be another backup unit here. He's got his Palatina guards. And then we have 2 units of cavalry, which I would like to keep actually where they are here, to utilize them tactically, if possible. No? Come on. There we go. Alright. I like how this is set up. I mean, I don't really love where the exploratores are, but it does give us a chance to fire arrows upon the enemy for a little bit and prevent them from moving forward, because the barricades are really easy to break if no one's guarding them. Alright, so the 3 of the quote-unquote heresies was Arianism, and it was brought forth by a monk named Arius. He lived between 250 and 356. Arianism basically stated that Christ, rather than being God, or another part of God, was actually created by God, and that they were separate entities. This was a belief that was shared by some pretty important people, including the emperors Constantius II and Valens, who, if you remember my discussion of the Battle of Adrianople, was the emperor who died against the Visigoths there. It also was a very popular religion among the barbarians, including the Goths, the Lombards, and the Vandals. In fact, way after Arianism was completely removed from the Roman Empire, the different barbarian tribes still believed it. In fact, they believed it until the 7th century, which is about, what, 400 years from now? After Arianism came Nestorianism. And this had a veneer of respectability because it was thought up by Nestorius, who was the patriarch of Constantinople. And Nestorius belonged to what was called the Antioch school, or the School of Antioch. There were two main schools of religious thought in the Roman Empire of this period. There was the School of Alexandria and the School of Antioch. All right. Let's just pause for a second to see what's going on here. So they're attacking here. Yep, see, they're coming in from here. So had I put troops here, that would have been a waste because they would have got around them. So it looks like they are massing for an attack here and here, with their cavalry trying to flank around here. Very light melee cavalry. I think my cavalry could probably take them out. Are they getting shot by the archers? Probably so. So actually what I'd like to do here, if I can, is quickly move these guys over here on the double and perhaps catch the cavalry in a hammer and anvil. Well, let's see what happens. So Nestorius was the Patriarch of Constantinople, and his belief was that the human and divine natures of Christ, so Jesus, the Son of God, was both a human and God, but that his natures, human and divine, were separate. Okay, let's just charge this guy. So, basically, Jesus was born a man to Mary, but then became... Wait, now he's backing off. Then became God. What are they doing? This is weird. Alright, now he's charging. Let's get him. Both groups should be able to take him. So they made this distinction by referring to Mary as Christotokos, or the mother of Christ, which is the human part of Christ, rather than Theotokos, which is mother of God. And we're routing their cavalry, so that's perfect. Now, Nestorianism actually ended in 431 by the First Council of Ephesus, when Theodosius II was emperor, and the victor of that was a gentleman by the name of Cyril of Alexandria, who, in reaction to Nestorianism, came up with his own philosophy called Monophysitism. And Monophysitism was pretty much the opposite. That was the belief that Christ had only one nature, and it was divine. And if he did have any human nature in him at all, it was like a drop of vinegar in the ocean. All right, here come our cavalry. Perfect. So let's move them up here. Actually, let's move this guy and over to take out these archers. Perfect. Okay, the battle is joined here. In fact, I actually want these guys back. And let's move these guys over here too to help these guys flank up. So the problem with Monophysitism is it denied the humanity of Christ, whereas Nestorianism focused too much on the humanity. Let's actually get these guys from behind, because that's the general, on the humanity of Christ. So anyways, Monophysitism was then itself condemned as a heresy in 451 by the Council of Chalcedon. Alright, this should... Well, except for the archers raining death upon us, this should actually be losing decisively and losing. Okay. I would make our cavalry leave, but they'd probably end up dying. Alright, so there's some axemen here. Let's try to take them out. And these guys, let's move them up here as well. General's going to stay where he is. And our cavalry here is engaged with these spearmen. Excellent. So their general has perished. Let's go after those cavalry.
The men are losing faith.
Let's go over here and let the tower shoot them for us. Alright, join the battle. Oh, this is nice. So, after hearing about all these different sects of Christianity, you might be wondering, well, what's the true Christianity then? What's the one they ended up with? And that would be called Caledonian Christianity, which was the kind of decree they all came together and supported in 451 in the Council of Chalcedon. And that is that Christ has two natures, yes, one divine and one human, but they come together as one distinct entity, one person, or as they say in Greek, one hypostasis, which means individual existence. Now, if all this sounds really strange and petty to you, I kind of agree. It's really, really quibbly. And it's funny when you think that people actually took this incredibly seriously. I mean, people lost their careers, people lost their lives because of this, because of their beliefs that are, if you listen to it, really quite similar. To put it into a perspective that maybe you'd understand better, it'd be like if there were three people sitting at a table and they all really liked sandwiches. And they were talking about how they all liked sandwiches. And one person said, I really, really love sandwiches. There's nothing better than meat that is surrounded by two pieces of bread. And then the person sitting next to him goes, wait a minute, what are you talking about? That's crazy. A sandwich is not meat with two pieces of bread around it. A sandwich is bread with meat in the middle. Now, you need to get out of here. You need to get out of this table because you are no longer welcome here. And so then that person gets up and leaves. And then after that, the third person looks over and says, actually, you're both wrong. A sandwich is neither meat with bread around it, nor is it bread with meat in the middle of it, but rather it's both at the same time. So you are wrong, and now you have to leave the table. And that actually is probably the best summary I could think of the divisions between Roman Christianity in this period. While Arianism and Nestorianism kind of disappeared, Monophysitism survived, especially in Egypt, although it was a more moderate form of it called Miaphysitism. And in the Oriental Church, right now, even to this day, that level of belief still kind of stands. There are people that consider themselves to be Miaphysites. Okay, I don't like how these cavalrymen are just standing here not doing anything. Archers? Will you please hurry up? Let's move fast. Cavalry? Let's come out here. You're wavering, so I don't necessarily want to commit you to anything. This should be helpful, though, if we could shoot them a little bit. Are we out of ammunition? No, we still have some. Okay, good, they're shooting. These guys are out of ammunition. Okay, well...
A unit has used all available ammunition.
Okay, spearmen, move out. Spearmen, move out. You guys are all beat up, so you move back to the middle. You move back to the middle. And our cohorts move out. We'll have to engage these guys one way or another. And these guys are out of ammunition. This is the weirdest thing. Must be a bug in the AI. This cavalry unit is still pretty strong. Here they are, marching very quickly to the front. Through the beleaguered and nearly ruined city of Marcianopolis. Which actually, interestingly enough, was the first city historically that the Visigoths raided when they turned against the Empire. Alright, let's form up into some kind of ranks here. Let's group into a formation. Alright, perfect. Alright, let's move up. What strange behavior. Cavalry, come out to the side here. Alright, back to normal speed. They're shaken, so it shouldn't take too much to finish them off. Oh, look, they're destroying the farms. Those are your farms, guys. Okay, this cavalry AI is very strange. Alright, engage. And you move forward. And you move forward. Alright, they're already shaken. That's good. And they're fleeing. Move forward. Engage these guys. Keep moving forward. Gosh, I would hope so. Okay. Move in on them. And now they're fleeing. Cavalry. And that's the end of that. Well, okay. With some very strange AI behavior, we were able to win that battle. All of our guys did pretty well, and the general never even got involved in the battle. So we lost 200 men. They lost almost 900, though they still have about 600 remaining. We captured 119 of them and let us replenish our force. And now the Alans are fleeing. And in the next turn, let's take them out. Okay, so the Vandals are now attacking the Western Roman Empire. And yes, of course, we're going to enter the war on the side of our ally, since it is a defensive war. And they're also being attacked by the Franks. Where are they exactly? Okay, yeah, that won't really affect us too much. So if you have any questions at all about these different religious groups and what they believed, you're more than welcome to ask them in the comments, and I'll try to clarify it. I know it's kind of strange, and their beliefs are very similar to one another, but basically it all boils down to what you think the relationship between Christ, the Son, and God the Father is, and once you've determined that, determining what percentage of Christ the Son is divine and what percentage is human, and whether you should emphasize his humanity or emphasize his divinity. And that's really what it all boils down to in this period when you look at these different groups. Oh, crap. Our legion has consumption. And isn't Claudia, that's the Emperor's legion, isn't it? One of your subjects has recently become infatuated and wishes to marry his intended. Shall their union be allowed to continue? Well, Eutropius is a eunuch, is he not? So, I thought eunuchs weren't supposed to get married. She has a sharp tongue, which will lower his authority. I don't really care about that. So I can give my blessing, which will lose control, which we actually have quite a bit of, I think, right? Or is that influence? And they'll get married. Or we can intervene, but we'll lose influence. No, let's give our blessing, whatever. If you want to marry a eunuch, by all means, enjoy yourself. And the villagers agree to peacefully pay their taxes. So in this case, speaking to them was the right choice, and we gained 5 influence. Very, very good. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, once again, I am Marcus Aurelius. Thank you so much for watching, Have a good one.